Hi, welcome to 90% Knitting. This is episode 265, and I'm Lisa, your host. Fiber Nymph on Ravelry and Instagram and everywhere. I will put in the little screen here where you can, with all the places that you can find me. Okay, so today is Thursday. It is the last day of November, and I recorded this whole podcast this morning, and it went quite long. And as I set about editing, hoping that I could trim and purge things out, I realized no, I just need to do this again. And so I have kind of simplified my show notes. This is what happens when I don't record a regular episode for almost 2 weeks. I did record last Wednesday, which was the shop preview, and thank you very much to all of you who shopped through my small weekend sale. That was fabulous, and I hope you enjoy all of the wonderful goodies that you purchased. They're all on their way to you, except for those few items that were a delayed shipping. They'll be out by Monday at the latest. Anyway, so that's all I recorded last week. Then my mom was up over Thanksgiving. They were here for, she and her fiance Roy, they were here for almost a week, and that was lovely, and I spent a lot of time with them, and I did not do very much work at all while they were here, which was also lovely, having that break. But I did do a lot of knitting, and so I have a lot of knitting to talk to you about. I'm keeping it simple, and I'm just showing you the most active things. There are some other things that I did work on here and there that are not worth showing you, but they'll show up in a future episode, be sure. So, all that to say also, I looked a lot better earlier today when I recorded. I was not in a t-shirt. My hair looked a little better. I was out on the motorcycle a little bit ago. It was really a nice day. I mean, it was in the 50s, but it was a sunny day, and I needed to run down to our local cable company to pick up a new hickey-madoodle so our TV would work right. So yeah, I got to do that today, but I'm not looking quite as good as I did this morning. But you know what? I wasn't going to take any more time to get ready. I just wanted to record this and get this show on the road, so to speak. So you're getting what you're getting with me today. First of all, let me show you two finished objects, although one is probably going to be an unfinished object again, but we'll start with the one that is definitely finished. And this is one that you haven't even seen on the needles because I started after I recorded last time. And this is the Cherry Soda hat by Thea Coleman, who is also Baby Cocktails. That's her company name that she goes by for her designing. I knit this for my daughter for Christmas. I was talking to her recently, and I said, I don't know if there's going to be a whole lot of hand knit gifts this year. And I could tell she was a little disappointed because she does enjoy her hand knits. And I said, well, aside from socks, because I know she loves hand knit socks, I said, like, what else would you like? Like, what other items are you into right now? And she said hats. And so I thought, awesome, I can do hats. I had knit her a slouchy hat last year that she really likes and she wears a lot, so I thought I'll do another one or two of those. So this is a slouchy hat. I think it turned out super cute. This is my yarn. This is Cozy, which is my worsted weight, superwash worsted. And this was actually a gradient, a 5-part gradient skein. It wasn't a mini, like they weren't minis. It was actually a full skein, but I selectively used the color sections in it. So obviously I did the brown for the beginning, and then the first lace repeat is this kind of wine color, and then there's this raspberry color, and then this more strawish color, and then the fifth color was the green, and then I just repeated. I did not repeat with the brown though. The brown's only on the band. So I really did not modify this in any way. I've knit it according to the pattern. I did go down in needle size though. I have found that for my worsted weight, I'm a loose knitter to begin with, and I made one of these as a sample for my shows earlier this year out of Cozy, and I knit it, I believe, on 7s, and it is quite loose. It's very big. So I decided for this one I was going to definitely go down a couple of needle sizes. I did the ribbing on size 4s and the body of the hat on 5s, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. So this is Cherry Soda. I still need to block it. I'm going to soak it and just kind of open it up a little bit so that that lace opens up. I don't really think it needs to be stretched. You know, I'm not going to put like a balloon or anything in it because I think it's slouchy enough as it is, but I do want to open that lace up a little bit. So that is a finished object. The other finished object that I have are the Gotta Love Pink socks that are also a Christmas gift for someone I won't mention because I'm not sure if that person watches the podcast or not. I don't think they do, but just to be safe. Anyway, I had a lot of knitting time while we were sitting around with my mom and everybody, so that was kind of nice. And so I finished these socks, and I put in Afterthought heels, and they're really cute. They're very, very matchy. I nailed it. This toe has a little bit more pink than this one, but otherwise I'm really spot on. I'm afraid they might be a little too short. I had my mom try them on because her foot is just a little smaller than the recipient's foots, shoe size wise, and these were they looked a little snug on her to me. My mom was like, oh, they're fine. They fit great. And I'm looking at them, I'm thinking, that looks like it might be a little tight. And I said, I'm just afraid they're going to be too small. She goes, well, then you should give them to me. I'm like, no. I said, these are definitely for somebody else. So anyway, they're finished. I'm leaving them out because I may end up ripping the toes out and knitting about just another ½ inch. It doesn't need a lot more length, but I feel like they would probably do a little better with just a little more foot length. Yeah, I just feel like, because these were 56 stitches also, and so my toes are not a full 2 inches. Had the toes actually gone a full 2 inches, I think the length would have been fine. But because I did not add any extra rounds in between the decrease rounds, I need to remember to do that when I'm knitting on a smaller number of stitches for socks, or I just need to remember to make the foot longer. Anyway, neither here nor there. At this point, they're finished, but I think they're going to be unfinished for a little bit so I can make them a little longer. Then I'll reknit the toes, and then they'll definitely be finished. And I've got plenty of yarn. I used just a little over half of a skein to make those socks. And this is what I have left, plus a couple of smaller balls from where I had wound off to make sure the heels matched and everything. So those are the finished objects I have. I really wish this next item was a finished object, but it's just not there yet. It's the Patent Croy socks. So I can't remember if this first one was finished whenever. I don't know that it was. But the first one is finished. The last time you saw it, I think maybe I was still on it. So the first one's done. And the second one is really, really close. I'm through the cuff, I'm through the heel, and I'm just knitting out the foot. The foot is currently measuring about 6.5 inches. I need to get to 8.5 inches before I do the toe decreases. So it won't take long. I just need to do it. I'm getting very tired of these socks. I like them, and I think my son will like them, but I'm over this yarn. Plus, knitting it with these Chagu needles. I like the Chagus for the tips. They're nice and pointy. And I like the cable, but after a while, it just starts to hurt my hand because it just doesn't have quite as much give as some other cables. So that's why I'm not, over Thanksgiving and while my mom was here, I was working on these a lot. And I think maybe that's why my hands are starting to hurt a little bit from how much I worked on them. So I'm taking it easy and I'm just sitting down and I'm doing a few rounds at a time and they'll get done. His birthday is this Saturday, and I toyed with the idea of trying to finish them up in time for his birthday. But then I thought, no, because I'm not 100% sure I will get the other item knit for him that I was thinking about doing for his Christmas gift. And then he wouldn't have any hand knits. And so I want to make sure he has at least one hand knit to open. So these will be Christmas for him. I did cast on another item that will be a Christmas gift, and this is another hat for my daughter. I was watching Diane in the Suburban Stitcher podcast, not her most recent episode, but the one prior. And she showed a finished object, which was a Girl Thing hat. It's called A Girl Thing. I'm looking behind me because it's a little after 3 and my husband could come home at any moment and he's not going to be expecting to see me podcast. So I need to just catch him and say, hey, I'm recording. I'll talk to you in a little bit. Anyway, a girl thing. This is a Joji Locatelli pattern, and actually, I think this is the first Joji Locatelli pattern I have ever knit. So that's kind of cool because she's got a lot of really pretty things out. I will say, however, had I just looked at this pattern on Ravelry and seen it, I would not have felt compelled to knit it. But seeing the one that Diane did, I really, really liked it. It was super pretty. So here is the picture that comes with the pattern. So this is Joji wearing hers. I just think that that lace bit on top really needed to be blocked out because it just sort of looks like a little tuft of a thing sitting on top of her head, and I don't find that look becoming. Especially when the rest of it is so fitting to her head. So, and the fact that she did it in a completely different color that I don't personally think goes with those other ones super well, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being hypercritical. It's not my look. So I would not have knit it based on this, but Diane had done hers in a neutral, like a white or cream, and I think her other color, I think her other color was like a pink. It was super pretty. It looked very, very soft and feminine and elegant, and I believe she had blocked her lace out nicely. It looked really pretty. So I'm doing mine in 2 colors as well. And this is what we've got so far. So let me show you the yarn. This is my yarn again, Fiber Nymph Dye Works. This is my Bedazzled base. So the purple that I'm using is Eggplant. That's semi-solid. And then the other one, it's a variegated and speckled, but it's just a one-off. I had leftover dye one day from a dye session, and I just threw it on a skein of yarn. I had no plans for it. I figured I'd put it in the shop as a one-of-a-kind, or I'd use it as a prize. But then when I decided to do this hat, I remembered I had it, and I thought, you know what, those colors would be great for my daughter. So this is what it looks like. I have no plans to try to repeat it because I don't think I could anyway. I don't think I made any notes about it. But I am knitting this. I did the ribbing on US 1.5, and then the body of the head I'm doing on 2.5s. I will say if I had something in between those two, I would probably be doing the body of the hat on that because I feel like the 2.5 is a little loose. Like I can see daylight through those stitches. But it's a hat and my daughter wants it slouchy, so it's not so open that it's going to look funny, but it'll definitely be drapey. So, you know, those aren't the needles called for. I think the 2.5s are called for, but I can't remember what was called for the ribbing. I feel like maybe it was a 2. I don't remember. It was something different that I didn't have. So I went down, I did the 1.5s, and I'm happy with the ribbing. The ribbing seems stable enough for a fingering weight. That's the thing, fingering weight hats always feel really unsubstantial to me, but I think this will be okay. So I did modify things a tiny bit. The pattern does not call for doing this little bit of contrast here at the bottom of the ribbing. Technically, I guess this would be my main color because I'm going to be using more of that than the other, but whatever. So I did do, I think, about 3 rounds of that and then started into the variegated. And now, then you do some increases when you get up to the body of the hat. And so now I am alternating. The other thing I'm changing up a little is the pattern calls for doing 2 rows of each color and switching off. I think those look a little small, and because there's some light purple in this variegated, it's sort of mixing with the main color, and I think it looks funny. So the last 2 rounds rows I did, stripes that I did 3 rounds each, and I like that better. Plus it's about the same size as this, so I think that'll look a little bit better. I didn't go back and rip those first ones out. I figured it's fine. But yeah, I'm making the stripes just a little bit bigger. So you do a bunch of stripes, and then I'm going to end by doing that top lace part in the purple, and I think it'll look really, really pretty. So, and I have a little stitch marker on here. This is new too. I bought a few stitch markers a couple weeks ago from Lindsay, who is Simply Serving. She had a winter stitch marker update, and I got a few of those. So this is one. It's a little snowman sugar cookie. It's actually a progress keeper, but I'm using it as a stitch marker for right now. So anyway, this is coming along. You know, fingering weight hats are not my favorite. But I liked this one, and I thought it was really pretty based off of the one that Diane was doing or had done. So And I was looking for hat patterns to make for my daughter at that point, so I thought, perfect. It was meant to be. That's actually everything that I have worked on that I'm going to show you. The only other thing I will point out is because my mother seems to be in the habit in these last couple years of trying to steal socks that I'm working on, and she successfully did that last year with a pair, and I've since given her another pair, and she's all about the hand-knit socks all of a sudden. You know, she's lived in Florida for, what, 11 years, and now suddenly, because she was always like, I don't need wool socks, I live in Florida. Now she's suddenly like, I like socks. Get me socks. Make me socks. I pulled this pair of socks out from my work in progress bin. I knit this one during Stash Dash this summer. And this is my Bold Berry Swirl colorway and bounce. I got one done during Stash Dash, and then I had gotten a lot of the second one done, and then I think I stopped because I realized I probably wasn't going to finish this, and I had other things I could finish, so I just used the one for Stash Dash. But I'm really close. I mean, I'm on the heel decreases, so the gusset decreases. So this I can finish up pretty easily. My mom can wear the same size socks as me, so since this one's already done, it'll be fine. And I think she'll like them. They're bright and cheerful and colorful, so these will be a Christmas gift for my mother, who is suddenly all about the hand-knit socks, which is actually kind of cool because, my gosh, I love making socks, right? So she is definitely going to get socks from now on. Maybe not for every single gift-giving opportunity, but yeah, socks. Socks for mom. Okay, that's everything that I'm going to show you today. Like I said, I've got some other projects, but nothing that's really needing to be seen today. I will say coming up, because tomorrow's December 1st, and if you were one of the people who bought the holiday countdown sets, I know a lot of you were waiting until December 1st to start either using the yarn or the fiber or whichever one you got. And I'm going to be right there with you, because even though I don't have, well, do I have, no, I don't really have a full set of either the fiber or the yarn, but I do have small balls of all 24 days of the yarn. Not the full 10-gram balls. I just have the leftovers, but that's okay. I'm going to make an effort to add each day's color to my Granny Stripes blanket throughout the first 24 days of December. I'm really looking forward to that. The other thing is I have most of the days of fiber. I think I'm short like 2 or 3 days. I just didn't have any leftovers from those days. So I would also love to try spinning those. Sarah, who is PA Knitwit, she started using hers already because I think she said she was maybe going to be gone a few days in December or something. I don't remember. But she decided to start hers early, and she's just spinning hers end to end. So she's spinning each day, all the different colors, all the different fibers, just end to end on a bobbin, and then she's going to chain ply them, and she'll basically have kind of like a magic cake that didn't need to have any knots, and it'll have some overlapping, and she'll just use it for some sort of fun project. And I think that sounds like a really, really cool idea. I originally thought I might spin them each and then just Navajo ply them or two ply them to themselves. And use those in my Granny Stripes blanket. But my fibers are not superwash, and my yarn is. Not that I think I'm going to be throwing that Granny Stripes blanket in the wash regularly, but I would like the option to be able to wash it without having to worry that some of the yarn might felt. So I'm not going to do that. So I think I'm going to just follow suit with what Sarah's doing, because it seems like a really fun idea, and yeah. So that will be what I will be doing. And I will probably do that on my Sidekick, because I have the jumbo flyer on there, so I can just do like really big bobbins. So we'll see. And then the other thing that I think I'm definitely going to try to do, I don't know if I will be successful, but I did purchase the 2017 Project Peace pattern, which is a shawl. Last year it was a scarf. I think it was a scarf. I made mine into a cowl, but it was a free pattern last year. This year it is a paid-for pattern, and the proceeds of that are being donated somewhere. I do not remember where, but you can find it on Ravelry if you look in the projects, the pattern pages. Look for Project Peace 2017. And oh my gosh, I cannot remember the woman who has designed this, but she has already sent out a picture of the shawl, so you can see what that's going to look like. I have not received the pattern yet, I don't think, although I am behind on mail and Rav messages, so I might have it and I just don't know it. But that starts tomorrow. Now, the thing about that is it looks very, very similar to the Otter pattern, or Otar, O-T-T-A-R pattern that was in that Happet book by Kate Davies that I showed you a couple weeks ago. I really want to make that shawl. The Kate Davies shawl is garter stitch and then feather and fan. The Project Peace shawl is mostly stockinette, I think, with little garter stitch waves in it occasionally. I think I'm going to do it all the Kate Davies way, but then maybe do some little rivulets of stockinette instead. I don't know. I want to combine the elements of the two shawls in some way, and I really, really would rather have it be more garter stitch than stockinette because I think that would just be super squishy. So anyway, those are 3 things that I'm hoping to be able to do every day in December, or at least through the first before Christmas. We'll see how good I am at that, because I'm not typically really good at sticking to things like that. One thing, let alone 3, but I'm going to try. So stay tuned and see how far I got next week whenever I record again, and I'll show you my progress. You know, hopefully I'll stick with it. I'd like to. It seems really relaxing, all 3 of these things. So unless it stresses me out to try to do all 3 things, then that would not be relaxing. But I'm trying really hard. Well, I'm not trying really hard. My intention is to have December be a sort of relaxing month. I still have holiday gifts, obviously, Christmas gifts that I'm working on, knitting. I have some sewing Christmas gifts I'm going to be doing. I will talk more about those another week once I've actually started them. So it's not like I'm home free, but I'm at a point in my year where all of my big work deadlines are passed. And so even though I definitely still have work to do, I can breathe a little bit. And it's been a while since I've felt that way. Plus, we're not in the middle of any major house projects, at least not until after the new year. Bill's still working on the car. Totally long story. I'm not even going to go into that this week. And there's some other stuff going on, but like I'm not required to be in the midst of any major projects right now. So I feel like I can do my work and I can take care of the house and I can get ready for the holidays and just relax a little bit. It's been a long time since I've been able to do that. And so that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a month of just peace and relaxation, and not even outer so much, but inner. I need to just quiet down. You know, if you ever get that way, you just need to quiet that soul down. And that's where I'm at. So anyway, December. December is also the last month of our knit along, our year in the life of a knitter. That's sort of bittersweet. I've really enjoyed having this knit along of this whole year, and it totally met my goal. My main goal for this knit along was to help build community within our group, within the 90% knitting group, and I feel like it really did that. We've had such a wonderful core group of people who have participated throughout the year, plus, you know, other people popped in and out, and that was great. I'm going to miss that if it completely goes away. So those of you who have been a part of this, please don't go away. Even though I have not always been able to be in communication on the group, I'm trying to be better about it. But I've just so enjoyed reading your stuff and seeing your projects and just chatting when I can. And I really hope that that will continue into the new year, even if we're not doing a knit along that has prizes for chatter, because I'd like to think that that's not why everybody's taking part. I mean, the prizes are fun, and I've had fun giving them out, and there's going to be a ton for November. I know I could have just waited till tomorrow to record and done the prize drawings, but I'm not. That takes a while, so I need a little bit of time to prepare for that. I'll do those next week. I'll announce the winners for November. But let's think about December. Our December focus is whip management, and that is mostly, I would like you to think about the whips that you have, especially ones that are not active. You know, if you've got languishing WIPs, I'd like you to think about whether you want to finish them or frog them. Now, the whole thing about December, though, is December is a crazy month all by itself. For that reason, we're not going to have a December challenge. There will be no challenge in December. December is challenging enough. And so I'm also not really pushing you to either finish or frog any of those projects, but looking into January, because that designer knit along that I was talking about, I'm still hoping to do that. I've run into some mental snags with that on my own, and I still need to do a lot more planning. Stay tuned for information about that. That won't be starting until a little more into the year once it starts. But for January, always, not always, but a lot of years, I use January as my month to finish up WIPs or frog ones that I know I don't want to do. Now this year I kind of use Stash Dash for that purpose, but I still have tons of WIPs on the needles, like a full big plastic bin of WIPs. So I am planning in January to use that as a WIP finishing month. And I would love it if you would come along with me on that journey. For those of you who have them. I know some people are pretty monogamous knitters and don't have a lot of WIPs on the needles, and in that way then I guess you don't have to do that. You can just work on whatever you're working on and talk with us. But for December, just, if you have some moments here and there, pull out those WIPs or look at your project pages on Ravelry and think about the ones that you might want to frog, or the ones that you definitely want to finish, and just kind of mentally catalog those, or maybe make a list if that helps you. And I hope for Chatter, maybe if you have some projects that you've had on the needles, like say, okay, I've had this shawl on the needles for 5 years and I haven't finished it and I don't know if I want to continue. And here's what's hanging me up, or I'm not sure what's hanging me up, or whatever. Post a picture of it and talk about it and let other people have some input. They might have some insights that might either help you make that decision to finish it, or it might just become really clear through talking it out that, you know, it would be better off frogging it and using that yarn for something else. I think that would be the best use of December for us. And that way you're not really committed to having to do any major projects other than what's already on your plate personally, but we can wrap up the year in a nice way. Just, you know, still focusing on projects and looking to the future, looking to January. And I think that'll be a really nice setup for January. So that's what we've got left for the knit along this year. A couple of other things I want to tell you about, and then I've got some new stuff I want to show you. First of all, I have a drawing to announce this week. Let me see if I find it here. Jennifer Lassonde, who is the host of the Downseller Studio audio podcast, and she's a designer of a lot of lovely shawls, has designed yet another shawl. It's her final one for this year, and it's called the Mega Rose shawl. You may have already heard about it, especially if you listen to Jennifer. But here is a picture of it. It's a very, very big shawl. So Mega Rose, definitely appropriate for that. Let me read you the description that she has for it. It says, the Mega Rose shawl is a top-down crescent shawl that is designed for a main color, a gradient, and a contrast color for the border. The body and border are done all in garter stitch. The gradient is worked in a very simple lace stitch. Short rows are worked in the garter section, so you don't even need to worry about picking up wraps. The pattern, she said, is also easily modifiable if you want to do it smaller rather than the really big one. I can't remember. Does this say how much yarn she used? I remember listening to her, and like the size ended up, yeah, 120 inches wide. That's a really, really long shawl. But again, you can make it smaller if you want to, and it's beautiful. She's got a great talent for designing these. Anyway, she sent me this copy, and then she has offered a copy up for grabs for a drawing. And so I'm going to start a thread in the 90% knitting group, and if you would like to enter to win a copy of Jennifer's new pattern, please enter by posting once in that thread, following whatever prompt it is that I end up putting in there. I haven't thought of what it's going to be yet, but just read that and you'll be able to do that. And I think it's really cool because Mega Row, as opposed to also being like Big Rose, it's an acronym for her 7 nieces and nephews. If you listen to her podcast, you know she's very devoted to her family and loves spending time with all these nieces and nephews. So she did the name, you know, that's the first letter of each of their names. And she's got an 8th niece or nephew, I don't know if they know, coming in the coming year. And so this is the last year that there will only be 7. So she thought that that was appropriate to design this shawl for that, and have the name have 7 letters in it. So anyway, I thought that was pretty cool. So be looking for that if you would like to enter that drawing. The other thing I wanted to mention was that I got a Rav message from Carol, who is Knits and Pearls, and sorry, I keep thinking I'm hearing my hubby. She does the A Stitch in Time podcast, which I have not yet watched. I wasn't aware of it. And so now I am, and I can't wait to see it. But she tagged me to do the Knit Life survey. And I don't know if you've seen this being done on other podcasts or not. I know Emily from Fibertown went through all the questions on her most recent episode this week. So that was pretty cool. And that actually is what spurred me to remember that, oh, I got that. It came before Thanksgiving and I was so busy with a bunch of other things. I saw it come in and then I never really did anything with it. It's basically a survey about your knitting life, 25 questions, and it's really fun. I love doing things like that. Like when you get those things on Facebook, where they ask you silly questions and you're supposed to post them about yourself. I don't know. I've always enjoyed doing things like that. So I am going to do that Knit Life survey, but I'm going to do it as a totally separate recording because it would be way too long to include in a regular episode. So I will hopefully maybe record that tomorrow and then post it sometime over the weekend. So if you're interested, watch it. I think it'll just be a lot of fun. I'll think of 5 other podcasters who I can tag for it. I always feel funny about doing that, but I'll come up with somebody. I'm sure there's somebody who might want to play along. I don't know. I'm sorry. I look like I'm paranoid, like I'm looking behind me. Yeah, so I'm going to do that. I think that'll be a lot of fun. And, a lot of the things are questions you probably maybe already know about me since I've been recording for like 7 years almost. I'm sure there's things I've talked about. But if you haven't seen from the beginning, you haven't followed me, then you might learn something new if you're interested, because who isn't interested in learning about me, right? I'm totally being silly. All right. Lastly, new things. Well, last in 90%. I did definitely take advantage. That sounds horrible, take advantage. You know what I mean. I shopped this past weekend for like Black Friday sales, Small Business Saturday, Small Shop Small Weekend, Cyber Monday. There were a lot of wonderful yarn and yarn related websites and dyers and people, shops doing sales. And I love to support other shops. You know that. I have no qualms with that. And I shopped. And the one I'm going to show you about today, because it came today. See, it hadn't been here this morning, so I couldn't have showed you. But I can show you now. This is from the Woolly Thistle, and I placed a really big order with the Woolly Thistle, and I don't feel at all bad about it. Sometimes I hear people say, ooh, I was bad, or should I feel guilty, or whatever, and I don't. I don't, because this is what I do. This is what I do that makes me happy, and I have no problem with shopping occasionally for things. Yes, I've got a giant stash, and I'm not trying to be a wool glutton, no wool piggery, but I bought things, and most of this I bought for specific reasons. Not the least of which is Claire at the Woolly Thistle stocks some beautiful, beautiful yarns, most of which are the lovely, crunchy, non-superwash wools, but most of them are also from over the pond, or the other side of the pond, however you say that, from over in Europe. England, British wools, Scottish wools, Finland, Icelandic stuff. And some of this that I'm going to show you is things I've used before, and some of it's new, and that's the main reason I bought it, because I wanted to try it. So, oh, here it is. It's over here. Okay. So let me show you. And I'm going to also, I have a few patterns sitting here that I'm going to show you what I bought some of them for. That was the other thing. I went on a major pattern buying binge on Tuesday. I didn't know about the pattern sale, the Gift Along 2017 pattern sale. I'm always behind on this kind of stuff. I don't know why. But I was made aware of that through our chatter group in the podcast, and or our chatter thread, the knit along chatter thread. They were talking about it, and so I went over to the bundle, the gift along sale bundle, and like over 5,000 patterns, which I tried really hard to look at all of them. I didn't make it. There's like 113 pages of patterns. I think I got through 25. And then I just started using the advanced search feature to search for specific types of patterns. At any rate, I ended up buying patterns from I think 9 different designers, and some of them I bought more than one pattern. I'm really surprised that either PayPal or my bank didn't like ping me thinking that I was being hacked and my card was being used by some malevolent person, because I was making all of these purchases, because you have to purchase from each individual designer. So they were small purchases because it was 25% off each of these patterns. So they were all like under $10 almost. So yeah, I'm sure that looked kind of funny, but maybe they just know me by now. Oh yeah, she's buying from Ravelry again. Okay. So the first thing I bought was some yarn that I have not used before. And this is tuku wool, which is from Finland. And I bought 2 different types. They have tuku wool sock, which has nylon in it, and then they have tuku wool fingering. Now it's all fingering, but the fingering does not have nylon in it, and it has a bit more yardage, 195 meters on the tuku wool, whereas the tuku wool sock has 20% nylon, 80% finished wool, and only 160 meters. So these 2, this is a navy and then like this really pretty stone kind of blue. I just love it. The dark blue is Tinny, T-Y-Y-N-I, and the lighter one is Ava, A-A-V-A, and they are all made in Finland. And then this one, the one without the nylon, this is Repo, R-E-P-O. So isn't it pretty? It's this really lovely burnt orange color. And they've got like some veg matter in them still. They're just lovely. Oh my gosh, I love them. Anyway, I bought these specifically to make the Underwing mitts by Erica Hauser. Now clearly I'm kind of going off of her color scheme there, because I've got the dark blue. Instead of the white, I'm going to use that light blue. I hope there'll be enough contrast. If not, I do have some light Jamieson and Smith that I think I can substitute. And then I will use this to do that little detail. That is done by duplicate stitch, so I'm going to use like 2 yards of this, but I'll use it for something else as well. I just love the colors. I love the colors in this, and I really like this combination. So like I said, I really, really hope there will be enough contrast between that dark blue and the light blue for this to work out well. But I just love that moth motif and those moon phases. I just think it's beautiful. I've fallen in love with Erica Hauser. I hope I'm not mispronouncing it too badly. Her patterns. I bought a bunch of them at the sale on Ravelry. So that was what that yarn was for. Then I purchased some Jamieson and Smith. I got this green, which is a lovely green, and then I got this gold. And I have red already, and I'm going to use those to make the Yggdrasil mitts, which this is a horrible picture of it because oh my gosh, my printer totally was running out of ink. I didn't realize it. I can't even read most of the pattern. I'm going to have to reprint it. But you've probably seen these because a lot of people have been knitting these on their podcasts. And this is by Skein Knits. She designed these, and I just think they're so pretty. They would be pretty in a lot of different color combos, but I really love the red and the green, and I'm going to use the gold in place of the white, I think. So they would be perfect Christmassy mitts, obviously, but I don't know that I'll get them done for Christmas. Maybe I'll cast these on for like my Christmas Eve cast on or something this year. That would be kind of fun. I don't know. I may change my mind on the color scheme. I don't know. We'll see. But in any event, I'm going to knit these, and it's going to be with Jamieson and Smith. So I bought those. I had actually bought that pattern prior to the sale. I don't know that that was even in the sale. I also got some Jamieson and Smith in navy. Don't ask me why. I think I had in mind one of the other Erica Hauser patterns. I'm not going to show you all of them just because I'm not going to knit all of them all at once. However, I bought enough. I do think that is going to be my Christmas gift pattern or project for some of my close friends for next year. So that will be something I will be working on throughout the whole year with the intention of having those for Christmas gifts. Okay, so that was all of that. Then I bought 2 different sweater quantities of yarn. And the first one, you might recognize this label. Yeah, I bought myself a sweater quantity of Let Lopey in this fabulous red. I don't know if they have a name on here for this red. It's 1409, but oh, is that not the most gorgeous? I don't know if it's garnet. I can't remember what name it was, but it's just beautiful. And I have 3 balls of white. I'm planning to pair those up for this to be the main body and then do some sort of color work yoke with white. That's what this is going to be. I can't wait. I know, I still have to totally finish that other, the hero cardigan in my other Let Lopey project, but I will, but that's going to be a sweater too. And then lastly, the other sweater quantity I bought is a cone of Frangipani 5-ply Guernsey. I've been fascinated by this. I've seen this on the Woolly Thistle site. I've never purchased a sweater quantity of yarn in a cone. Now, I will say this is not going to get me a full sweater. Like, I'm not going to be able to do tons of cables and long sleeves. This may end up being a vest. I don't know. I forget how many yards there is on here. Let's see. It's not written on here, but it was on the website. I just know that, and I'm pretty sure this is a sport weight because I don't tend to buy fingering weights. I'm going to say sport weight. I don't know that I've ever knit myself a sweater out of sport weight. I've tried and I've frogged them. That was more design issues than yarn. Anyway, I just love this. I want to try it. Hey, and if I don't do a sweater, I could do like a bazillion pairs of socks or something. I don't know. But I'd really like to try doing a sweater out of it. I did look at some sport weight sweater patterns that I have in my queue before I purchased this to see yardage requirements, and this is close for some of them, but I think I'll probably need a little bit more to do a full sweater. However, I was not going to buy 2 cones of this because it was a little pricey, so I didn't want to buy more than I really needed, and I would have had a lot left over. So anyway, we'll see, but I'm really excited about my new yarn purchases, and I can't wait to play with them in the new year. So that's everything I've got for 90%. Real quick, 10%, like I said, Thanksgiving was lovely. It was wonderful having my mom here. We played a lot of games. We talked a lot. We just sort of hung out. Monday, I took them kind of sightseeing in Pittsburgh. Roy had never been to Pittsburgh before. He's from West Virginia, but he has only ever been through Pittsburgh going other places. So he wanted to see Heinz Field, and my mom wanted to go up onto Mount Washington via the inclines. We did all of that. It was a lot of fun. We had a nice day. My husband wrecked a motorcycle over the weekend, or on Monday. A deer jumped out at him on his way to work. Yeah, he's fine. The motorcycle was not fine. The motorcycle was probably going to be totaled by the insurance company because of the amount of damage versus what the book value is for this 5-year-old motorcycle. He was very lucky. Again, he wrecked this year when that aggressive driver basically ran him over. And that was his first road accident ever in 45 years of riding a motorcycle. And now he's had a second one in 4 months. And he's very, very keenly alert for deer because when you live around here, you have to be. Monday was the first day of buck season up here, though. So they were really moving, even though it was super early. It was only like 5:30 in the morning, and it wasn't light out, so nobody was shooting yet. But the hunters are out in the woods early, and so the deer were moving. And he even said, you know, I take this route to work every day. I know where I see deer. He said, I have never ever seen a deer in this particular location. I mean, he wasn't driving fast because it's kind of a windy road. I know where he was, but anyway, the deer took him down. So thankfully he's okay. Other than that, like I said, I'm just feeling so much more inspired. My knitting mojo is definitely back. I'm relaxed. I'm trying very hard to be conscious of how I commit my time, not only for December, but for the coming year. You know, this is the time of year where I'm really planning my business year for the coming year. And I'm trying really hard to be mindful to not overschedule or overcommit myself to things. I want to have a full schedule, but not an over full schedule. And I feel like I fell into that trap this fall. I really sort of overscheduled myself and overcommitted. I have a bad habit of doing that. It's funny. I recently found my planning notebook that I had when I first started my business 7 years ago. And in the front of it, I had written a bunch of goals I had for my business. And one of them was to not allow my business to negatively affect myself personally or my family. And I thought that was so intuitive. It was, or not intuitive, but insightful, because that is actually the thing that I struggle with the most. Because when I am over busy, it does affect other people around me. And I know that is something I've struggled with this whole entire time that I've had this business, because I'm the kind of person who I'll say, oh, I want to do that. I'm going to do that. Oh, I'm going to do that. Oh, I'm going to do that. You know, all these things, and they're good things, but it's kind of like if you have a $10 bill and you want to buy that thing and that thing and that thing and that thing, but they all cost $10, but you're planning to buy them all with the same $10 bill. That's how I am with my time sometimes. I always get the stuff done, but I make myself crazy and stress myself out and burn myself out, and it frustrates people around me. And I want to avoid doing that. That is like a huge goal for me in the coming year, to just be better about my time. And I know 2018 is going to be yet another year of transitions and changes, because I will finally be putting my house on the market. I'll be completing my move up here. I mean, I'm living here, but a lot of my stuff is still back at my house. We're going to hopefully get the studio underway, the permanent studio construction underway. And there's still a lot of things along the way that we have to do both here and at my house. So it's not over. That part of things is not over. And I need to focus on balance. That's my constant struggle. And I'm just really, I think the fact that right now, since December is so not stressful for me yet, and I'd like to keep it that way, I'm seeing that and I'm thinking I'd really like to be able to keep 2018 like that as much as possible. So I don't know, I'm just sharing that because that's what's been on my mind lately. And it's funny because I'm already thinking about 2018 plans and goals, my personal stuff, I mean business stuff, I'm always thinking ahead, but it's not till closer to New Year's that I start thinking about that stuff personally, but I'm there now, and that's probably a good thing, thinking about stuff ahead of time. Anyway, I don't really have much in the line of shop news for you this week. Again, thank you so very much if you shopped my sale last weekend. All of that stuff went out. It was so much fun. I took 3 huge heaping bins of packages up to the post office yesterday. I have a few things that need to go out yet. It's those delayed shipping items. Those will be in the mail by Monday at the latest. Hopefully Saturday, but Monday definitely at the latest. I am definitely going to be making more of the Christmas tree and snowflake blanks soon. I mean, definitely the Christmas blanks soon. I'm waiting for an order of sock blanks to come in though, because I'm almost out of them. So once they come in, I will do more of those, and I'm just going to put them up in the shop. I'm not going to wait to do an update for them. I will announce that they're in the shop. I'll announce it on the Fiber Nymph Dye Works Instagram page and on the Facebook page. And I'll try to remember to put it in the Rav group too, the Fiber Nymph Dye Works Rav group. So, but Instagram or Facebook, those are the best places to go to stay if you want to know when those go up in the shop. Or you can subscribe to the shop's RSS feed It's in the right-hand column on the shop page. That will send you an alert whenever I've put something new in the shop. Anyway, those blanks went super fast. I figured they probably would. So thank you for your enthusiasm about them, and I can't wait to make more. They are very time intensive and labor intensive to make. I have a newfound respect for the people who do a lot of this hand painting on blanks because I've never done a lot of it, but when I do, wow, it's fun, but it does take some time. Anyway, I marked down a bunch of stuff. I think I did that on Monday, like during the Cyber Monday extra 5% day. I marked down a lot of like any fall colorways that were still in the shop. I marked those down, so they're all on sale, and there's still several of them in the shop. So if you missed the sale and you want to go see what's on sale in the shop, just click on the on sale link on the right hand side, and that'll bring up everything I have listed on sale. I am planning to do at least one normal update in December rather than just posting. Oh, the other thing, I have not yet put up the fiber or any of the gradients that I had left from my show inventory. I never had time to get those up. So those will definitely be going up through December, and I'm probably going to list those at a bit of a discount as well because I really wanted to have them up before the sale. I didn't get them up, and so I'll probably put those up at a bit of a discount just because they missed the sale. So anyway, but other than that, I hope to get one really good shop update up in December. So I might do a favorites update. If you guys have favorite colorways that you'd like to see in the shop, maybe I'll start a thread. Maybe I'll put it in both the 90% Knitting group and the Fiber Nymph Dye Works group, and just let me know. If you have a favorite colorway that you'd like to see in the shop that you haven't been able to grab, I will try to accommodate as many favorites as I can. Yeah, that's it. I'm going to go. This thankfully was about 25 minutes shorter than the one I recorded this morning, so yay me. But I'm going to try to get this processed and up tonight before I go to bed. If not, it'll be up in the morning. But anyway, and like I said, I will be doing that questionnaire, that Life Knit survey. I'll do that as a separate video, and then I will record next week, probably towards the end of the week. So you'll be getting a lot of videos from me in a short period of time, apparently. All right, have a good rest of your week, and I will talk to you later.